All right, y'all, we are back with another video from Dr. Steve Turley. Now, he uploaded a video saying that Fulton County DA just got some very bad news. I am very intrigued to try to hear exactly what's going on. One thing I want to say is we know that Trump is no longer in jail right now. FANI WILLIS is in the hot seat trying to lock Trump up for nothing, no proof of nothing. They just want Donald Trump off the streets because it ain't nothing but a election interference, and I'm going to continue to keep saying that. I'm not going to stop saying that. This is an election interference. That's all it is. The left, they are scared. They are terrified of Donald Trump. They are terrified. So what I was hearing was, it was one thing that I heard in my last video. It's like when the man said, is FANI WILLIS working with Joe Biden to get Donald Trump locked up allegedly? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I was hearing in the last part of the video. Because that right there could be something. If Joe Biden and the Biden administration is working with FANI WILLIS to try to take out Donald Trump to keep him from running. Because like I said, even if Donald Trump don't run, I still don't see Joe Biden becoming getting reelected again. I just don't see it. But we're going to check it out. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe. Shout out to everybody been showing so much support. Everybody that's been leaving positive comments in the comment section. I also want to thank everybody who clicked on this video for the very first time. I appreciate you as well. Without further ado, let's dive straight into this. Let's go.
This is an emergency right now. I'm calling for an emergency special session. I've had senators ask me, what do you do when you have an emergency special session? First step, Steve, defund FANI WILLIS. Now, these senators, they want to use semantics with their constituents, and they want to say, well, she receives local funding or she receives federal funding. Well, she also receives Georgia state tax dollars, Steve, and my constituents do not want their hard-earned tax dollars funding this type of rogue power. Okay. The second thing we have to do is we have to investigate FANI WILLIS. They say, well, what would you investigate? What about the fact that the indictment comes out the day before the jury even finishes and concludes, right? We need to investigate what coordination she's had with the U.S. Department of Justice. There are so many things to investigate. What about the fact that half of her inmates at the Fulton County Jail have yet to be charged with a crime? I mean, when the citizens of Fulton County have to start paying for this and not my citizens in Northwest Georgia and across this state, they're going to think twice about what she's doing, because instead of their neighbor getting murdered and their other neighbor getting robbed, and all she's worried about is taking on political prisoners, you know, maybe she'll stop and think about that.
A growing groundswell of opposition is rising up against the corrupt Fulton County DA FANI WILLIS, and it's just getting started. That was Georgia State Senator Colton Moore, who's leading the effort to impeach Willis of the ridiculous weaponized legal witch hunt.
They're trying to impeach her
against
now.
President Trump. A witch hunt that's only in the end making Trump stronger than ever, especially among black men, which we'll be covering in a later video today. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, make sure to share this video with friends and family. We are once again being throttled by big tech censorship, so I need your help to get the hopeful message of this channel out to as many people as possible. It's now being widely reported that House Republicans are indeed launching an official probe into the shenanigans of the Fulton County DA's office. The House Judiciary Committee is investigating whether federal law enforcement agencies or officials were involved in FANI WILLIS's investigation and indictment. Her office was notified of the investigation, what she's required to turn over. Quote, the committee is demanding the DA's office turn over all documentation of its use of federal funds, communications with the DOJ or its components, and any records of cooperation with officials of the executive branch. Here's House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan on what they're investigating.
3 questions, Sean. Did you coordinate with the Biden administration, the same administration who's indicted their general election opponent in D.C. and Miami already? Did you coordinate with them? Did you work with Jack Smith? Look at the same witnesses. Any coordination there? And did you use federal funds as part of this investigation? We asked these same questions of Alvin Bragg a few months ago, and he, in fact, did use American tax dollars to go after President Trump in Manhattan. And oh, by the way, Alvin Bragg sued us when we subpoenaed one of those prosecutors up there in Manhattan. He sued us. We went to court, and the court ruled for us. So we're going to be just as aggressive here. We're going to do it within the Constitution, but we are going to do our duty to get the answers the American people deserve for this ridiculous indictment that's taken place in Georgia.
There we
go.
Yeah,
so thus far, Willis has refused to answer questions as to whether she had been in touch with Jack Smith, the special counsel that's brought 2 indictments against Trump.
Too.
And former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, is saying that word on the street is that this Fulton County indictment was actually ordered by the deep state in D.C.
That I am told, this is hearsay, but I am told by a reliable source that Friday evening somebody from Washington called the district attorney in Atlanta and said, you have to indict on Monday. We have to cover up all of the mistakes we just made with Weiss. And she said, apparently, my jurors aren't coming back till Tuesday. And they said, you didn't hear me. You have to indict on Monday. And she said, well, they're not going to get here before noon. They said, it doesn't matter. She said, this means it's going to be 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night. They said, it doesn't matter. We need the news media shifting.
Who made that phone call?
We don't know. And I'm telling you up front, this is hearsay, but it's from a person who has remarkably good sources.
I totally believe it, though, because that would explain why they leaked and they messed up on the clerk document, why she was exhausted, and why they had the 11 p.m. press conference, Mr. Speaker.
Boy, I told you.
Gang, we are literally at the beginning of something utterly epic. And no, I'm not talking about the return to Trump. Last week, dozens of nations met in Johannesburg to discuss a new trade currency backed by gold. And you don't want to miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get in on the action. We got amazing friends to this channel who can help you do just that. We've partnered with the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco, who've helped patriots across the nation move over $1 billion into gold and silver. You heard deliberately cover up the corruption behind the David Weiss fiasco. Remember, Merrick Garland, who is objectively speaking an abject disaster of an attorney general.
Man.
He appointed David Weiss as a special counsel to investigate Hunter Biden, even though Weiss is the very one who gave Hunter that sweetheart special plea deal designed specifically to cover up Joe Biden's criminality. So as you would expect, the appointment was a public relations disaster. Recent ABC poll found that only 30% of voters expressed any semblance of trust in the integrity and independence of the investigation. The vast majority are just laughing at it. So blatant. So it was a disaster. And according to Gingrich, they needed a diversion to take attention away from the corruption that's infested itself in the highest levels of our federal government. So now we got this probe into the Fulton County DA's office being launched by a congressional oversight.
There you go right there. See what I'm talking about? Trying to take the attention off Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. But Hunter Biden get a plea deal for what he did, which we ain't going to go into detail because we know what he did, but he didn't get no jail time for it. And just like I said before, I knew it. I knew this right here was a planned attack to try to take down Donald Trump. And now since the people got questions for FANI Willis, now she ain't answering. They said that they haven't heard from her. She don't want to answer it. But when it was time to get Trump locked up, she was everywhere. She was taking questions. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. It's the fake outrage, man. Like, this right here is just crazy to me. This is crazy. Like, y'all is so scared of Donald Trump that you had to put a planned attack to get this man indicted. And like Dr. Steve Turley said, all y'all doing is just raising his stocks up. That's the only thing you're doing. You're just making it look that much more better for him when it's time for the voting and stuff to come. Obviously, Trump is still winning in the polls. He didn't even show up to the GOP debate, and he's still winning in the polls. Him and Tucker Carlson broke the internet. Did you see the records? You see how many people was watching? And what are they trying to do? They trying to take this man down. And like I will continue to say, Donald Trump is a warrior. He's going to keep fighting. He is not just finna lay down and let these people do this to him. It's not going to happen. All this crap that Joe Biden been doing about his comments about the Mao situation, my prayers still go out to everybody in Hawaii. But look at the comments. What kind of president would leave those type of comments for something like that just happened and smile and say no comment? Ain't no president doing that. And look, Trump was the one that spoke out. He spoke out and he called out Joe Biden for doing that. You know what I'm saying? So everybody was pissed off at Joe Biden for that. But like I said, always something they're trying to do, trying to keep Donald Trump in the news to take all the heat off Joe Biden and the what he's doing. That's all this is a cover-up, man. And like I said before, man, this is the reason I know for a fact that Trump will be reelected in 2024.
Committee. And we got Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs introducing a bill to defund Fani Willis. It's a bill that's actually called the Willis Act. Have you heard about this?
Now they're talking about she finna get indicted. It ain't fun when the rabbit got the gun.
Stands for Withholding Investments from Lawless Litigators in States Act. It's absolutely brilliant. At the same time, as we saw earlier, we got Georgia State Senator Colton Moore calling for a special legislative session to investigate whether this political indictment was politically motivated.
Republican, listen to this, y'all. Breaking from Colin Rugg. Republican Georgia State Senator Colton Moore moves to impeach Jordan District Attorney Fani Willis for her actions against Trump. Like I said before, everybody knows this right here was a planned attack to take down Trump. That's all this was about. I don't know who he said that was up in that was making a call. Like, no, you need to do this now. We got to go ahead and do this now. We got to go ahead and get Trump indictment. We got to go and get him in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything was a rush. So it's like, I can't wait till we find out who is behind all of this. We allegedly know that Fani Willis, obviously, but it's somebody else in there too that got something to do with this. And hopefully it's going to probably end up coming out.
Hello, everyone. It's Senator Colton Moore coming to you from the Fulton County Jail. Today, Donald Trump, who have been taken political prisoner, are going to be booked in this jail. The 200,000 people that I represent who sweat hard every day for their tax dollars, they don't want their tax dollars funding this corrupt district attorney, Fani Willis. We as a legislature, me as a senator, we have a job to do. We have a constitutional duty to provide oversight against executive and judicial officers.
Yep.
And that's why I'm demanding that we call a special session today. Defund Fani Willis of any Georgia tax money and start the investigation into her. Contact your state representative, contact your state senator, demand a special session. We've got work to do. We've got a country to save.
Now, obviously, Colton Moore is not alone in this call. Republican congressional candidate Anthony Sabatini originally tweeted out, the Georgia legislature must call a special session tomorrow and immediately subpoena Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis tomorrow. In the meantime, freeze all funds to her office. Any Republican, especially in Georgia, not calling for this must be eliminated from office. The problem here, of course, as he's alluding to, is that Georgia's Republican-dominated legislature is also governed at the top by the feckless establishment rhino Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, who's refusing to call a special session. And you also have Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr, again a Republican, who's refusing to step in and get involved in the motion that was filed to remove the case from state court to federal court, even though Georgia state law requires the attorney general to be involved in any state criminal case that could be removed to federal court. So we talked about this on Friday's live.
But he don't want nothing to do with it.
Republican attorney general in Georgia could shut this circus down this very second, but he refuses to do so. And it's all because these feckless rhino establishment hacks are all in on it. They want Trump indicted. They want Trump taken out.
Yep.
So this is going to require the people rising up against their feckless rhino establishment and holding their feet to the fire. And that's what we all have to do. We all have to stand up and make sure those who claim to represent us shut the circuits down for good and hold these reckless lawfare practitioners accountable.
Yep.
Hey, gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free.
Shout out to Dr. Steve Turley, man. He does a great job. I will leave the original video. Anytime I react to his videos, I make sure I show love. I show respect to his channel. Leave the original video link at the top of my description, man. But he did a great job. I got to let the horns out. But yes, man, he does a great job, man. Like I said, if y'all like to watch the original video, the link to the original video is always in the description. That way you can go watch the original video yourself. He does a great job over there, man. And like I said, he tells it like it is. But, you know, obviously we see that she might get indicted because they want to know why is you doing this? Is you working with Biden, Jack Smith? Like, is you working with these folks just to take down Donald Trump because you don't like him? Man, so I can't wait to see like what more comes out about this, but I knew it was something, man. You know, I've been saying this for the longest, that something is not right at all. Something is not right. But hey, we'll find out. Like I said, y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.